Start yet. There you go. All right. Welcome to Show on the Go. It's your boy Roscoe Squeeze Off with
your boy RB.
All right, today we're gonna discuss kind of like some crime topics going on with cities and areas, counties, states, what have you. I guess we should probably start with the two major ones that have happened, recently here around this Thanksgiving time. The first one will probably be Kyle Rittenhouse. What's your thoughts on the Kyle Rittenhouse beating everything on all accounts?
Oh man, he OJ'd that, man. He got away with straight murder all day, man. And this is a sad day. And the crazy part about it is, I actually watched this trial, and it was so many different parts of this trial that just went terribly wrong as far as justice, but went into his favor. And I'm not going to lie, I feel like it was all based off of white privilege. I'm gonna throw it out there, because this does exist. People think it doesn't. Some people think it doesn't. Of course, I myself and a lot of people that think like me know it exists. And this was a clear case of it. I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and she's white, and she said, I don't understand how this trial has anything to do with race, because the people that he killed were white. So I proceeded to go through a list of things of why it had to do with race. Number one, it was a Black Lives Matter rally. Okay. So that in itself, you have Black people there, but you have all the people that support this movement too, whether they're white, Asian, Hispanic, whatever. They're there to support the Black Lives Matter movement at that point. So you know what you're going into there. And I felt as though it was one of those things where the people that were injured and killed that were white, it was kind of a message to say, hey, look, if you support this movement, then it is what it is, and we've seen this before, back in the 50s and 60s and even the slavery times when you had white people hide slaves and white people help with the marches in the 60s and all of that stuff. In the 50s, you have white people that helped out with these different movements. They were sacrificed. And it was sacrificed by their own people, as a way to say, you want to go against us? Well, we'll treat you like you're one of them. And I think that in my mind now, I could be totally incorrect, but I think that in my mind, this was a clear case of that, because this whole trial reminded me of something that would occur back in these times.
Well, I watched Kyle Rittenhouse himself I actually pulled up a video of him on Tucker Carlson, and I thought they did a great job of trying to make him look innocent. If that's what he did in the court case, I can see how he won it, because they made it look as though he was under attack, and they got the judge to throw out the fact that he had a gun illegally underage, walking around with an AR-15, and he said he was just protecting some property, and people came at him and attacked him. He was self-defense. Now, the problem I had with this morning, well, two things, kind of like what you said, is the privilege comes in when I don't think anyone can name a story of a person of color, black, Hispanic, whatever you name it, with an AR-15 at some event that is, not say Black Lives, let's say a Trump rally, a QAnon event, and call themselves protecting an area and would be able to shoot people, even persons of their own race, and then be deemed almost like a hero. Because I'm looking online and it's like Marjorie Taylor Greene she wants to award him with some type of medal. They're trying to introduce a bill to award him a medal, a congressional medal. What did he do to get a medal? You know what I'm saying? You went to a Black Lives rally, man, Black Lives Matter rally, whatever, and you shot 3 people, and you need a medal for that?
I mean,
so he got to meet with President Trump. I mean, why are we making this guy a hero? Are these hero type things?
Well, I mean, meeting with President Trump, that in itself says a lot. I mean, you already know that. But also the fact of, let's break it down in so many different ways why this is wrong. Number one, I will say this. There's not a black man on the face of the earth that's going to walk the streets with an AR-15 and live to tell about it. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I don't care what rally you are in. It's not going to happen. The police are not going to say, hey, put your weapon down and let's take this person to custody. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. That's just not the way it works. And then you got to go back to the fact of, okay, he's protecting property and all of this. Well, yes, first of all, the AR-15 is illegal. Second of all, he crossed state lines with his AR-15. Okay? Now, I don't know what planet he's from, but that's still illegal. That's 2 things right there. That's illegal. You got an AR-15, and you cross state lines to come to that rally. You know what I mean? So when you come to that, you came to the rally with the gun, you already got 2 things right there that should have been off top. You're guilty because it happened. It happened. We all saw that this is what happened. It was stated in the trial. He gets off of everything. Okay? Then on top of that, you go and you kill people and you're deemed a hero.
Right. Well, they try to say those other people were criminals and had records. I don't know what they did. I didn't, did research on that, but they always those people weren't victims, because remember the judge said in the court case that you couldn't call them victims. You could call them looters or rioters, what have you, but you couldn't call them victims.
And that's crazy to me, because why aren't they victims? They were a victim of a crime. And the crime was murder. It was cold-blooded murder. They were there protesting. They didn't have guns. They didn't shoot at him.
One they may have had a gun. I think they got a picture of one that had a handgun. Some video of it. At least that's what I saw on Tucker Carlson. I don't know. I didn't see it in the court case. I saw it through Tucker Carlson. And one guy had a handgun.
You know how I feel about that.
Yeah, right.
You know how I feel about that. I mean,
right.
You could doctor anything up.
Well, here's the other thing. I would implore people, if you get a chance, it's on YouTube. I think it was called like the Ohio assault weapon experiment or something like that. And they had like a white guy walking down the street, because it's an open carry state. So he was just walking down the street with an AR-15. Police pulls up. He tells him he knows his rights. He can carry his gun. They essentially leave him alone. Just drive off, leave him alone. Same camera crew following around a black guy walking around with the AR-15, and they hem him up. They police cars come from all angles. They pull guns. They had to put on the ground. They had to say, "Hey, this is just an experiment. We're video cameraing," because they had him. He had the gun away from him. They had guns drawn everywhere. So, it's 2 different Americas based upon your race, and based on who you are. Just want to make it known that just don't believe. I don't believe that Kyle Rittenhouse was maybe all the way in the wrong. I believe he shouldn't have been carrying that gun. But if you are carrying a gun, I just would like to see that everybody got that same chance to defend themselves. I just don't believe that's where I believe the privilege came in. That would not be self-defense for people that look different. That's where I come at it from.
Listen, in my own opinion, he got away scot-free with murder. And this dude, this is going to be another situation like your boy, the Trayvon Martin case. That's going to be able to sit back, walk the streets freely, write a book, make money,
sell the gun,
be hailed a hero, and this is America.
This is America.
This is America. Case of white privilege. I'm sorry, it is what it is. You know.
Well, that being said, let's step on over to the Armada Aubry case, where the three gentlemen there were actually convicted. Now, I myself think that they had them dead to rights. You got all the video footage you need, and the laws in that state say you can defend yourself, but you can't vigilante. You just can't run off and go kill somebody because you think something's going on. And that's basically what happened. If they really do believe he was stealing or doing something wrong, that's not the way you handle it. What you think about that case?
I believe it's just one of those things where they had to take one for the team on this one. You know what I mean? Because I think their verdict came out a week or two after your boy,
right?
You know, so I figured that they were like, hey, look, at the end of the day, we can't have everybody roll off, because then it really exposes how things really work in America, And I think, in all honesty, with the video here, and you saw what was happening, they hunted that man. They hunted him down.
Oh, without question.
They hunted him down. Question. And it was sad to watch. It almost reminded me of, and you're pretty good with this, that movie where Ice-T played it, and they had it to where he was like, I think he was like a bum on the street or something, and they got him, kidnapped him, paid him some money or whatever.
Survivor.
Set him up. Right. Yeah. And they tried to hunt him down.
Right.
This kind of reminded me of that. You know what I'm saying? Because It seemed to me that they were really out to hunt.
The odds were stacked. They were in a vehicle. He wasn't. They had weapons. He didn't. He couldn't. And it was, it was multitude of them. Is just him. He had no way to win that. They had no reason to kill him in that situation. So
yeah, that in itself too, I truly believe was cold-blooded murder. I believe those guys got. I can't say they got.
They ain't been sentenced yet. So we don't know what they're going to get, but they are guilty.
I mean, what do you? I don't know. What do you think is going to happen? What's your prediction in this case, as far as
you got to give them at least 20 years each? At least 20 years each. I don't know if it's going to be much more than that, but I think they got to give them amount of time that's going to be satisfying to the public. And I kind of agree with what you said. Coming off of the Kyle Rittenhouse, they kind of had to do something, but they are two separate and differently ran states with different laws. So the laws there, they can't say they're self-defense when you can clearly see they were the aggressors. So they couldn't win that. But I believe what you said. That'd have been Rodney King all over again. The streets would have exploded on that one. Because that was just the video footage made it too, like the Rodney King thing. It was just too obvious for you to try to just say too obvious. And I think it'd have been like Tupac said back in the day on his song. He said every Negro in LA got a little bit of thug in him. We burn this bitch down, you get us pissed.
Right. It's facts.
It's facts.
That's facts.
And I think Atlanta would have burnt that motherfucker down.
Hey,
if they'd all walked, oh my God, Atlanta would have went crazy.
Look, the ghetto gospel. What Ice Cube say back in the day, said, we told y'all what was going to happen. before it happened, and then y'all went and did it anyway, so y'all allowed this to happen. They knew what was coming, so they had to have some kind of sacrificial lamb.
Without question.
You know, but I tell you what, though, my prediction, I know you said at least 20 years. I don't know. I'm going to tell you what my prediction is for this case and these guys. 10 years, manslaughter.
No, they got charged for that. More than that already.
Oh, wait. No.
They got charged for murder. They got charged for murder.
Take that back. I didn't mean manslaughter. But 10 years. I think they're going to do 10 years. 10 years. I don't think they're going to get a max. I don't think they're going to get a max.
You know something? And that's my fault. I didn't look up the minimum sentence for this. And that's probably what I should have did. Because I'm pretty sure there should be some minimums on this. I think they'll at least they'll get, if the minimum is 20 years, they'll get 20. If it's less than 20, most murder around America is 20 to 25 years is the minimum for any first degree murders. If it's less than that, I can't see them getting less than that. I just can't see them getting. I'd be shocked because that could still, if you had a way to slap them on the wrist, but when you get first degree murders, you can't get slapped on the wrist for first degree.
I tell you what. Those dudes are going to do a total of 7 years. Watch. They're going to do 7 years. We're going to see these dudes on the street in Walmart. But,
man.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not, man. I think that, honestly, for, in my own opinion, for what they did, man, they need to ride in jail. Straight up. Because it's not just because, just because it was a black man. It was because it was a human being. And they hunted him down like a damn deer. So, no. They need to get life. That's what I feel. Is that what I think is going to happen? No. I think that I will see these dudes walking the streets in my lifetime. Except for the old dude. I don't know. I think... looking a little weak at the trial. I don't know, anything over 2 years, my man might not make it. But I don't know. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. But I doubt.
Man, I'm seeing the felonies. I'm trying to see no mandatory minimum sentence in Georgia. Okay.
See what I'm saying?
First, let me see. First offense for murder in life, no parole eligibility is 25 years. Second offense. Okay, so it might be 25 years, but it says no, but then it says it might be 25 years. I don't know. I'm looking up here wrong, but mandatory minimum sentence takes discretion away from the. So it does it takes away from the judges. That was the purpose of doing it, but because so judges couldn't just look out for some people when they want to.
Look, I tell you, in the words of my man Charles Barkley, I could be wrong. I doubt it. I always love when he said that. But my bad.
All right, well, let's just pop on to the next little topic here when it comes to this crime thing. It was local, but it made a little bit of national news. I know, like Roland Martin had put it out on his national platform. The governor of Maryland kind of went in and threatened to pull funding from the state's attorney, Marilyn Mosby, if she didn't give her some information and numbers on what plea deals she's doing, all the crime statistics, all her charging statistics. And she went off. She held a press conference that very same day and went off, calling the governor a liar to some degrees. He doesn't mind seeing Black and brown people tossed in jail. If you want a good listener, somebody that's angry and fiery and pissed off as a politician or that's in the political world, pull up Marilyn Mosby's from the week of Thanksgiving week press conference, because she went off on the governor. What you think about that, RB?
I think he should, man. I think he should. I think he should get down to really what's going on as far as crime in the city of Baltimore. The city of Baltimore has been struggling with crime for a very, very long time. And I truly believe it has a lot to do with people in power. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not a Republican. I can say that, but I like Hogan as a governor. I do like Hogan as a governor. I believe in a lot of cases he's fair, and I believe that he is fed up with seeing a lot of the things that's going on in the city, like a lot of the Baltimore City residents and taxpayers, and things are not being done. I mean, Baltimore's been hitting 300 plus murders.
6 years straight.
Yeah, 6 years straight. Like, come
since
on.
2015. Yep.
Come on, and you got to think about this. And you're also dealing with a COVID lockdown at some point.
Yeah, but COVID supposedly has made crime go up everywhere because DC is going to be over 200 for the first time since 2004. 200 murders. Like they said, COVID has made crime go up everywhere, all throughout the nation.
Yeah, but
Baltimore's crime has been up long before COVID.
That's what I'm saying. Now here in Baltimore, they haven't missed a beat.
Status quo.
You know what I mean? Hey, lockdown. What we got to do when we come out of lockdown? We got to double up.
Yeah.
So, so that's my thing. And I don't know if you guys know a lot of the backstory of Marilyn Monroe thing. As far as what she said she was going to stop prosecuting. Now, you know a little bit more on that part of it. Go ahead and hit on Roscoe with what she said she was going to start not doing.
Well, this is a lot of police have been mad and the governor hasn't liked it because what she has said is she's not prosecuting a lot of low-level crimes, considered low-level crimes. So trespassing, any type of possession charge of small amounts of drugs, no matter the drug. So it could be crack, it could be heroin, it could be Percocets, it could be whatever. But she's not really prosecuting a lot of the usage amounts, the amounts that could be deemed as a user as opposed to a dealer. So she is prosecuting dealers. So what happens is, I don't know if a lot of you know this, but about 65% of all jails are people that are small amounts of drugs. A lot of times it's repeat offenses, but a lot of the jails are filled with people that are repeat offenders of usage amounts, which is, I believe, no hold me to this, I think it was at one time like 7 individual bagged up amounts of, whether it used to be marijuana or crack or heroin or what have you. And the police hate it because I never had a problem with her doing this. The problem I had was her talking about it, holding a press conference on it, because now you have people on the street who literally yell out to cops, "Man, I'm coming right home, man. Why are you even bothering me? All I got is 5 pills on me." That kind of stuff. So it makes the police not want to enforce their jobs as much on the lower level stuff, because if they can't get a big fish, it's like they feel like they're wasting their time.
I totally agree, man. I think it was a very, very poor playing, bad move for her to get up there and have a press conference and say, we're not going to prosecute low-level crimes. It doesn't make sense to me, And my thing is this. At the end of the day, even when it comes down to it, you just don't announce things like that. You don't. You can sit back and say, hey, I'm not going to do it. You know what I'm saying, Roscoe?
Right.
I'm not going to do it. We're not going to do it. And that's just an in-house thing. This is what we're doing in-house. Because I'm telling you right now, me myself as a citizen, if you tell me that you're not going to enforce parking tickets, guess what? If
parking any day.
I'm parking wherever the hell I want to. If it's on the news that you're not enforcing parking fines and stuff like that, I'm parking in handicapped spaces. I'm parking fire hydrants. I'm pulling up on sidewalks, bus stops. I don't give a damn, because I know that there's no consequence. You know what I'm saying? Due to my actions of what I decided to do at that time. So,
hold up. She's not. I mean, because I just pulled it up. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When we were trying to get this podcast off the ground, we had a lot of questions. How do we record an episode? How do we get our show on all the apps that people will listen to? How do we make money off of our podcast? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing our podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with some great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading you this ad. Anchor, we started almost about a year ago, and it's been a godsend. Like I said, it's a one-stop shop for everything. You don't have to have any experience, and it takes you where you want to be. So if you've always wanted to start your own podcast and make money by doing it, go to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start. And join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. So she's not enforcing low-level drug paraphernalia possession, and prostitution. Not enforcing prostitution either. Surprised we don't see more prostitutes wandering the streets.
I'm not out that time of night, so.
Well, if you're not getting charged for it, they can do it in the daytime.
But you know what? In all actuality, that's a whole nother subject in itself, because I don't feel like, I know it sounds crazy, but I've never felt like that should be illegal. I feel like it should be regulated, but not illegal. I don't believe that you should be able to tell somebody what they can and cannot do with their body, period. Whether it's pregnancy or prostitution or whatever. But I do believe it should be regulated, and the health department should play a big part in that to make sure that things are not being spread. But that's a whole nother topic in itself. But again, why announce these things? Because I'm sure that kind of gave prostitutes the okay, like, oh, for real? So if you have prostitutes in a whole nother county that are getting prostituted, let's just go to Baltimore City and open shop.
Exactly. And then if I'm a drug dealer and I know that the usage amount, the people that are users are not getting in trouble, well, that means I need to sell my stuff with only a certain amount. Keep a certain amount of me at a time. Because then I can, as long as you don't catch me in the act or have me on video actually selling it to someone, I can always say I was a user. And this is just a small amount, and hey, let me go, according to my state's attorney.
You know, I think that was a really bad move. It was just really, really, really bad move. And I think that the governor should step in and take over. I truly do.
Here's the question.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the question. Because like I told you earlier, I had this debate with my father. Can politicians change crime statistics? Can they make an outcome on crime? Change the outcome on crime? He didn't. My father, for just the background so that people listening, my father told me if a guy wants to kill another guy, how does a politician stop that?
He doesn't stop that, but they make tougher laws. Laws, you know, harsher consequences.
I agree.
I do believe that, because listen, I'm not a fan of Rudy Giuliani. I want that to be known. I'm not. But when this dude was running New York, he put into place, if you get caught carrying an illegal handgun, you would get 10 years for every bullet in that gun.
You know what went down?
Huh?
I said, you know what went down after that?
You know, there you go. You know what went down? I mean, it literally got to a point, and I'm not even lying, because I had some family members that was in the streets back then, and I would listen to them say, "Yo, for real, I'm only carrying 2 bullets in my gun.
Yeah.
You got to make them count, you know, because if you get caught, the gun is a charge in itself, and then 10 years per bullet.
Hey, Chris Rock said it best a long time ago. They should sell the gun for free. They should sell a bullet for $5,000 each. Because then when somebody gets shot, like, hey, they really wanted him. They put $50,000 worth of bullets in his ass.
You know what I'm saying? So I do believe that. You know, the politicians can change the narrative of, you know, how crime is flowing in the city. And unfortunately, I think Baltimore is one of those cities that when people are put into office, they are more concerned with power, respect, and what's the other thing? Power, respect, and
power, respect.
Well, yeah, but also kickbacks.
Oh yeah, like Catherine.
More than actually solving the issues at hand. I really wanted to see this guy become the mayor of Baltimore City, T.J. Smith. I was really rooting for that guy. I believe that he really could have changed the city around.
Police background.
You know, yes. And the thing of it was, I felt like Baltimore isn't ready for that.
Well,
I truly believe that.
I believe that. I don't know. I tell people all the time, I don't know what it takes to stop crime personally. I've always said, make your drugs legal. And I'm going to pull up. Oregon's numbers have probably been great as ever. They weren't bad before, but since they legalized pretty much everything, they don't have any crime really. But
it's because they all related. Let's break it. It's Oregon.
all I know is states and cities differ from time to time under different leadership. So sticking to Baltimore right now, since 2015, they've had 300 or more murders each year in a city that has around 600,000 people. And prior to that, with the previous leadership, in 2014 it was 211 murders, 2013 233, 2012 218, 2011 196, and it was always in the 200s. I can keep going further back, 223, 238, 230. You know what I'm saying? So what was the difference in leadership? When O'Malley was in office, Kurt Smoke was in office until 1999. All these numbers are in the 300s back then. From 90, the whole entire 90s, 1990 to 1999, were 300 or more murders each year. In 2000, when O'Malley took over, they went to 261, and then 256, and then 253, and then 270. So obviously, leadership is making a difference. I don't know how it works, and honestly, I don't care, because to me, those positions are results-based positions. Now, you listen to what they say going in, but then based upon the results is how they get reelected or not. And Mosley is in his elected position as a prosecutor. If we're not prosecuting enough people, and crime is going up because of her and the current mayor or the commissioner, you gotta get them out of there and get somebody in there that gets the numbers where you want them to be. Granted, you don't want any murders, but if in 2014 it was 211 and the very next year in 2015 was 344, something changed.
Lack of leadership.
Something changed. And same thing if you go to just pick another city that's close to here. If you go to DC, let me pull those numbers up, because I notice it's an uptick everywhere in the country. Don't get me wrong. So I don't want to just make it like it's just certain areas, but it's an uptick everywhere. But leadership makes a difference, and that's the only thing I'm trying to hint at. So here's the murders here. This is violent crime. I want to look at strictly for murders. Oh, here it is. So in DC, they haven't had more than 200 murders since 2003, where they had 249. Remember, DC is a pretty small city. Right now, they have 198. They're going to break 200 most likely. They're going to get 2 more murders before the whole month of December. What changed? I mean, they even had in 2012 where they had 88 murders for the whole year. You know what I mean? Like, 105, 162, 136, 116. I'm just looking at different years. What changed in leadership that made it go up? And maybe it's coronavirus. I don't know. But I believe that you have to change the public official if the numbers don't go which way they got to go. I just don't believe that you can just say, well, that's not their fault. You got to change it until you get the results you want.
I agree. And, I hate to say it, man, and you and I talked about it a long time ago, but, the police officers here are tired. They're tired. They're tired. They're overworked. I believe they're overworked and they got a tough beat. I'm not even going to lie. And I'm not going to say that everything is all good with the Baltimore Police Department. I'm not going to say that. But you have a lot of officers in there, too, that don't care. It's a paycheck. It's a job. And you're going to have to change some of those things in there, too, to be effective with solving the crime.
Isn't that everywhere? Isn't that everywhere? Because I gotta. It has to feel like a slap in the face. Because I've actually, because of the way I work, I've talked to quite a few officers. It feels like a slap in the face to many officers when you hear stuff like defund the police.
Oh yeah. I do believe it's everywhere. You know what I mean? I do believe it's became. It has became a certain thing now. Police officers, because they nobody cares. You know what I mean? And all the things that they have, going on in the world and everything. And I'm not gonna lie, being a police officer is a tough job. And you have, officers out there that are horrible. You have good officers out there that are just great officers. And both sides are being, being challenged in this time, this changing time, in this climate. But you also have to look at that. You have to do something with that too. It has a lot to do with leadership. It has a lot to do with the morale in the police departments. It's a lot of things you have.
And the interaction with the police and the community. If you got police calling you pigs and all type of names because of incident that didn't even happen in your state or your city sometimes, or something happened to Freddie Gray in 2015 and 2021, they still hate you in the neighborhood every time, but yet they call you when something goes on. So that's a tough one.
It is.
How do you repair the bond between police? They used to have like athletic clubs, police athletic leagues and all that, and they used to also walk the beat. So police knew the people in the neighborhood. I always think that's a big factor too, that cops kind of just sit in their cars now. With technology, they don't really interact as much with the community as they used to.
I mean, but unfortunately, with the current climate, would you want to?
Good point. Good point.
Would you want to walk the streets? And I mean, if I was a police officer, I think I kind of wouldn't, because the community already looks bad at you already.
Well, while we're talking about the police interacting with the community, just want to bring up this last topic here. Is like, even just in Baltimore, is kind of local again, but it was a couple of major things that I just thought never happened. I saw this on The Wire once where they talked about certain things. People didn't do anything on a Sunday morning. You don't commit crimes on Sunday morning. And there was a lady that was murdered in a church in Baltimore. And it's upsetting to understand how that even happened. But it was a woman that was murdered inside of a church. I think you know a little bit more about that case than I do. Fill them in on what happened with that case.
Okay, so it actually wasn't a Sunday. I believe it was a day.
Oh, it wasn't Sunday?
Yeah, it was a day during the week. And what had wound up happening was it was a local church in Baltimore City. And, she went in to let some contractors in to do some work to the church. And she got to the church about 6 a.m. in the morning. to let the contractors in. The contractor's supposed to be coming around maybe 7:30 or 8 o'clock, from what I understand. And another church member came in roughly around 7 something, and found her dead in the bathroom. She had been beaten to death in the bathroom.
Wow.
So it was
69-year-old woman.
Yes.
Oh, matter of fact, so she was stabbed. She was also stabbed.
Stabbed and beaten.
Right.
And you know, and I'm also trying to, because I have a little bit here. What was her name? You have her name over there?
Evelyn Player.
Yes. And I mean, when you see a picture of this lady, she's everybody's grandmother. You know what I mean? Everybody's aunt. You know, and it's just one of those things, to a point of when you start attacking the elderly, you know, and then in the house of worship,
right?
You know, what does the world come to? Like who? First of all, you're not in your right mind anyway to attack any elderly person. You're not in your right mind. But to do this in the house of worship, like, what kind of scumbag piece of shit, pardon my language, are you to even think that this is okay?
It used to be honor amongst thieves, as they called it. So even if you were a criminal, a gangster back in the day, it's certain things you did. You helped the old lady across the street with her bags. You didn't sit on anybody's front steps or anything like that. You know, even though you were a criminal, you may have been a murderer. You respected the elderly and you respected children, because there was also another case in the very same week with a 13-year-old that was shot, at least one gunshot, right in front of a rec center, a children's rec center in Baltimore City. And the teen was pronounced dead at the hospital when she got to the hospital. And nobody has come forth with any information. And it's just like, are we such a nobody snitch? No, stop snitching type thing? City that nobody will even say, hey, you can't shoot a little child? Or it's same thing with the 69-year-old woman. Nobody saw anything. Like, the 69-year-old woman's early in the morning. It's the city. One thing. This 13-year-old was shot in front of a recreation center where kids are at on a regular basis.
Listen, somebody somewhere knows something on these cases, because
probably a lot of people know.
Yeah, because you're not going to sit there and do this type of crime and just, you know, keep it to yourself. You know, I'm sorry. There's very few Dexters out there. You know what I mean? Where this is the case and this is just your fixation type of thing, and that's just what it is. Somebody somewhere knows something. And I'm going to be honest with you. I believe that the killers in these cases are not far from the actual scenes.
That 13-year-old girl was shot at 7:04 p.m.
That's crazy.
Yeah, come on, that's a little bit at the rush hour, man. There's people still all over the place.
And that's why I say something needs to be done. Something needs to be done. And like you said, and you and I have touched bases on this whole stop stitching thing, you know, a few times. Look, certain things that should not be accepted. You know, now I'm not gonna lie. If I walk into a store and I see you stealing something out of the store, putting it in your coat, I'm probably gonna turn my head. It's not my business. You know what I'm saying? That's not my business. But I'm sorry, if you come in and you shooting some elderly person, some 13-year-old kid or something happens like that, you know what? Come on, man.
I don't know what we don't have a moral line anymore, and I just think that at one point in time we had a moral line. I don't care what line of work you were in. If you watch, granted, they may just be movies. If you watch old gangster movies, They helped the old lady across the street. They made sure the kids were safe. They ran the little boys off the block. Hey, get off this kind of corner. You're too young for this. That kind of stuff. And now it's just a different world, man. You got kids in they indoctrinate into the drug and the gang life because they know the kids won't get much time for the stuff they do. So they use the kids because they won't get charged as a juvenile. And then so you got little kids that's running around with guns. You don't know who shot this 13-year-old. I don't know if it's another kid. I don't know if it's an adult. And nobody seems to know. And that's what's upsetting, man, because we all have children. We all have grandparents, things of that nature. And between the politicians making promises to take care of this stuff and it's not getting done, sometimes you feel at a loss, man. And I'm pretty sure that's nationwide.
Well, all I can say in this case, man, it needs to get better. We need to do better as a society. They need to do better as lawmakers. Politicians need to do better as service of the community, service of the people.
Without question.
As a human race, we need to do better. We need to find our morals again. We need to find what matters in life again.
Need to find love, man. Just love thy neighbor. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, don't love them like lust them, but love them like care if they live or die.
Yeah. It's really sad, man. It's really sad, but I really do hope that they got a little bit of help from the governor on this one. I think they got $100,000 reward from Sutherland as far as to find who murdered her, and I believe they have a $13,000 reward.
13-year-old.
For the 13-year-old to get information on
now here's this, now granted, I know that rewards are as old as America. I mean, with the Western days, they always had a reward for somebody. But do you even need a reward to try to give a tip on making somebody pay for shooting a child or a grandmother? You need a reward for that. You need to be prompted. With the rewards, it still hasn't happened yet. We still don't have anybody yet.
But the thing of it is it shouldn't. But unfortunately, in this day and age, that's where we at.
Well, definitely, everybody, let us know what you think.
Wait a minute. Before you wrap it up, Roscoe. Before you wrap it up, I want to say this one thing, and I know it's a little slightly off topic, but I kind of wanted to touch bases with you on this, and you and I talked a little bit off air about it, but I just wanted to know what you thought about this. Now, people out there listening, this is we're doing this show. Thanksgiving has passed. It's Saturday. Thanksgiving was Thursday. I wanted to know from you, Roscoe. Everybody feels some kind of way about Thanksgiving. The background of it. This, that. Slave the Indians, and all of this, and I get all of that. But for me, growing up, Thanksgiving meant a little bit. It was a little different for me. It meant something else. I don't look at it as a celebration of giving thanks like some people do, and I don't, look at it as a situation of what terrible things happen on that day. For me, myself, I enjoy Thanksgiving for a couple different things. Good food. You get to spend time with your family. Okay? You get to see family members that you may not always see. You get to take a break. And you get to eat good. And that's why I like Thanksgiving. What does it mean to you?
I don't care what the name of the holiday is. And that's any holiday. I like holidays. I like anything that brings family together and have a good time. I don't care what the history of it is. I know, like Columbus Day, they want to change it to Indigenous People Day because Columbus was pretty much a bad dude. Yeah, I don't care. I understand why you do it for his historical significance, and so young people actually know the truth, and I fully understand that. Call it Thanksgiving, call it family get together day, call it whatever you want. I just like families getting together. Now, what I don't like about, I just think it was in the movie, Soul Food, where they said once Big Mama died, families just don't get together the same. So my family gets together, but it's just not the same as when my Big Mama and my family, who died, almost 20 years ago now, is slowly, we spread out across the world, my family, and we don't all get together. Like, she made everybody. When I lived in Florida, I came back to DC to go see my grandmother. When I lived in Chicago, I came back to DC to go see my grandmother. When I lived in Virginia, I was at DC to see my grandmother. Just the way it worked. It wasn't optional. She'd call you and tell you, I'm gonna die before you see me again. And you'd be like, all right, grandma, I'm on my way. I'm buying tickets now, or I'm driving now. And I just think that part of it is over. So you still get together and you do some Zoom meetings, or not, see people on Facebook, or face chat, or FaceTime. I mean, and FaceTime. I mean, for people that use that inferior product, but but it's just not the same as it used to be to me. But anything that brings family together, I don't care what you call it, I love it. I love all. Christmas is always my favorite because I think everything's closed. This was kind of close because I think more stores were closed this Thanksgiving than in the past. I think Walmart and Target and all those were closed too. So I love that. But I love the feeling of everything being closed, so you have nothing else better to do anyway.
Well, that's good, man. I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. I think we should do a show personally on holidays and how people are trying to skip over National Food Day, which was Thanksgiving Day, to jump into Christmas, and they got Christmas trees and Christmas lights and everything outside their houses and stuff like that, and everything like that. Just celebrating Christmas like I don't know, in summertime. I think that's a problem for me.
Right. No, I understand. I mean, we could definitely do one on that. You know how I feel about Christmas. My Christmas starts about November 1st is when I start doing my Christmas stuff, but that's a show for another day.
Yeah, no, yeah. We both know that you were celebrating Christmas in June, so.
Yeah.
But we definitely will do a show on that, man.
Well, definitely, everybody feel free to chime in. Check us out. Thank you for all the contact we've been getting. We definitely appreciate you. Any final words, any final thoughts you got there, Aubry?
Hey, man, be safe, be blessed. And that's it, man.
Well, until next time, it's your boy Roscoe Squeeze off with
Richie B.
Till next time.
Peace.
That's what's up.
That was actually pretty long.
Yeah, it was. Well, anytime,